My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus was teaching in the synagogue on the Sabbath, and a woman was there who for 18 years had been crippled by a spirit. She was bent over, completely incapable of standing erect. When Jesus saw her, he called to her and said, "Woman, you are set free of your infirmity." He laid his hands on her, and she at once stood up straight and glorified God. But the leader of the synagogue, indignant that Jesus had cured on the Sabbath, said to the crowd in reply, "There are 6 days when work should be done. Come on those days to be cured, not on the Sabbath day." The Lord said to him in reply, "Hypocrites, does not each one of you on the Sabbath untie his ox or his ass from the manger and lead it out for watering? This daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has bound for 18 years now, ought she not have been set free on the Sabbath day from this bondage?" When he said this, all his adversaries were humiliated, and the whole crowd rejoiced at all the splendid deeds done by him. The Gospel of the Lord. It's amazing as we recount the teachings and the message of Jesus and the events that took place, how so many people were just so blind to the reality as to what was happening, or ended up being so focused on their own personal agenda they just could not understand or accept what he was saying or what he was doing. We surely see a very classic example of that today, is this poor woman who for 18 years has been suffering and ends up being cured by Jesus. And all of the Sabbath, the head of the Sabbath, of the synagogue rather, all he can see is the fact that work is being done on the Sabbath. And so he proceeds to say, well, if you want to get cured, come on other days. Don't come on the Sabbath to get cured. What a foolish response. And of course, Jesus sees it and ends up recognizing the fact that even they would take care of their animals and take them off for watering on the Sabbath, and yet they didn't want to give something to this woman who needed it. Surely this compassion that Jesus shows to her is the type of compassion that St. Paul speaks about in the first reading today, where he tells us we should be compassionate with one another. And surely it's a very fundamental theme, I think, of Pope Francis. He has been showing consistently during the course of his pontificate a very unique kind of gift of compassion and care and concern for individuals. And it's a reminder to you and to me that what God has done for us, we in turn must do for each other. This morning, then, let's be mindful of the fact that we too must be open to the promptings of the Lord, to let his agenda work rather than our own, and to realize that he sometimes gives us surprising examples of compassion and care and concern that we can never take for granted.